Want to know why the creation of the Noisy Chair happened? Well, people wanted to share their story, concerns, and being loud. Well, I'm here to listen, have an opinion, and talk to people. That's what this is all about. My name is Dave, aka DJ Dave. Love being part of a new journey with amazing people on my podcast. Buddy, I'm glad you're here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
It's been we talked about it for a while.
Well, yeah, no, I've been looking forward to it. Couple changes in the schedule, but
yeah, you know what?
Here.
It's what happens when we are working.
Yeah,
you're a working class, you're a working guy, and same here. And it's tough. I think the evenings is the only time we can record this. But so I'm glad you're here. So listen, I want to welcome everyone to the Noisy Chair Podcast, Season 2, Episode 202. Beautiful. I'm your host, DJ Dave, and I created this podcast so we can talk about the musical journey of my guests and where they all started from, any noises or hiccups they want to talk about. This is a podcast platform they can talk about, right? So basically today is the part 1 of the series of up and coming DJs, and in the studio tonight is none other than DJ Matt Mavro.
Thank you.
Matt, how you doing, buddy?
Nice warm welcome. Good. You?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
I wanted to share everyone, on how we know each other.
Yeah.
Your parents basically your family's really good family friends of ours.
Yeah.
And you are good friends with my oldest, Lucas, and friends with all.
Oh yeah, the whole group.
The whole crew, right? I think we know each other for over 10 years.
At least, yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for Lucas and I, then
right,
wouldn't have known each other.
We wouldn't have known each other. And I don't even think you would have got into DJing.
No.
No. We'll talk about that afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I've obviously our kids. I'm talking like we have kids. Yeah. My son and you played hockey together growing up.
Yeah.
It was great to be around your family and being around you guys. And, you went to university with Lucas, which was cool. And how old are you right now?
24.
24. Same as Lucas, obviously. You stayed at the same residence at Guelph. Then we got a home and you guys stayed in there and did all the lovely partying and studying.
Oh, yeah. Studying, lots of studying.
Yeah, in that order. Yeah, no
exactly.
kidding. But it was good to see you grow up and, be around great people. Your family's amazing. Yeah. You guys are awesome. So it helps, when, let's say, for instance, when your father came to me and said, hey, listen, Matt wants to get into DJing, and it was like, I was almost in tears because it's like, oh my God, somebody wants to become a DJ, right? Yeah, exactly. Because I had the passion for it, and you knew, and I can go back and talk about how I did some of those corporate events, the bold, what was it? Your hockey,
the one that I came to,
yeah, like the hockey corporate party we did for your team. From Meadowville, remember?
Yes, I think it was one of the gala nights came with you, right?
Yeah. And then I wanted to go and dance. I said, hey Matt, go up on the turntables and play some music, right? So you played some music on vinyl. I know you started off early before that.
Yeah.
But when your dad told me, hey, listen, he wants to get into DJing, maybe show him what direction to go into, and so let's talk about you, Matt. when was the first time you knew or you got into music that you figured that you thought yourself, I want to get into DJing?
I've always been surrounded by music. Like, my dad loves music.
Oh,
always huge concert goer, right? Same with my mom. If you come to our house, we have music on probably all the time. It's never a quiet household. So I've always been surrounded around music. And then I think it was weird how I got into DJing. From what I remember, Tyler Cook, who I used to play hockey with, Tyler and his family, I think he downloaded a DJ app on my iPad, and he was messing around, and I was kind of like, what are you doing? Right? So, and then he's like, I don't know, I just downloaded this app, we were kids, whatever, just messing around. And then I think that's how I discovered it, started playing around on this app for probably a few months, and this is over 10 years ago now. And then ended up buying my first controller that was compatible with the iPad. So you just shove it in the middle, and then you kind of, and it's there. I think it was the Newmark controller. And that's how I got into DJing. And then I guess, found out that you were DJing. Did a lot of, just messing around at my house. And then I think we did the OHF provincials.
Right.
And that's when you lended me your DJ controller, messed around with that for a bit, and then bought that off you.
Yeah.
And then I think that's when I started to take it, a lot more seriously, and then wanted to come out to the gigs that you had that were more corporate and, organized.
Right.
So, that was probably 8-9 years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was like, close to that.
Yeah.
Close to that. It was fun, having talk to you about it, and because it's like I don't see a lot of younger DJs coming up or being or just having the passion of music and continuing to enjoy the DJing aspect. And when you're into it, and when you got my controller, you did some of the gigs the OHF gigs, and to me it's like I love seeing that. And when you started getting more into it, obviously you build your confidence.
Yeah.
You build obviously you're going to get into more creative in your music and your mixes and so forth, right? So your first big gig probably was the OHF, wasn't it?
Probably. I know it wasn't like, it was basically me just pressing play during whistles.
Oh, it was, sorry, that was during the hockey.
Yeah, that was the hockey one. But
what was your first main gig?
I don't know, but you know what? My parents actually have, I think I got like $25 maybe for a gig. And they actually took the cash and put it aside. Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that. I think like a few weeks ago, actually, my mom was asking me like, what do you want me to do with this $25? And it literally says on a sticky note, like, Matthew's first gig.
Wow.
So I don't know. It might have been like a house party for someone.
Yeah.
I know I did a lot of house parties back in the day.
Yeah. So you still have that $25 with a sticky note on it?
I believe so. My parents do.
You gotta frame that.
Yeah.
Put that up.
No. It's always good. It's good to look back on those types of things, right? Because had that gig, which I believe was a house party, and then did the OHF, and then another one for the Toronto Maple Leafs alumni, which was they played against Lauren Park.
Right on, that's right.
Those were charity events, so I got volunteer hours for those, and then other than that, like, trying to think back to my first gig, I think it might have been that house party. Yeah. Where I got like $25 and I was like, this is amazing, right?
First paid gig.
First paid gig. But I mean, I've always done it for the fun.
Yeah, that's how we've always started,
money,
right?
Like I've done so many house parties during high school and university where I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do it for free. And then they end up giving me like, a bottle of vodka or something like that, right? Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah, listen, I mean, that's how we've always started.
Yeah.
When we love doing something, we're like, okay, I'll just bring a speaker and my controller, play some music, right? But then, you get more experience that way. You get more into it, and then all of a sudden it's like, now it's time to get paid for what
I'm worth,
what
right?
you're worth, right?
Exactly.
And we shouldn't be afraid to charge for what we're worth. And, you did a lot of gigs in university, the parties there, to me it's like, if some people would just throw like a few bucks in a hat, and everyone, if they like the music, they throw a few bucks in a hat and then give it to the DJ, right? Because obviously you're there just for friends and having a good time.
Exactly.
So moving a bit more ahead. So now you've got your controller, you've got the experience. Now, your first software you used was Serato, right?
Correct. Yes.
And you're continuing to use Serato, obviously.
I'm on RecordBox now.
On RecordBox?
Because I bought the DJ 1000.
Right.
So that's what I have now, which is compatible with RecordBox. So I've switched everything over.
Yeah. I do prefer RecordBox over Serato.
I do like it, yeah.
Some people are saying that it was like unstable on some points, but like when you made your crates and you do all your folders and so forth, some guys were were like have lost their folders, and so you got constantly updating. But knock on wood, I haven't had that issue, and I'm sure you didn't either. But I like Rekordbox. I was a big Tractor guy.
Yeah,
you saw when I was playing the vinyl. I started off with vinyl. I love vinyl. I it's a great way to experience the real live blending,
for sure.
Especially when it comes to like either belt driven turntable or a direct drive turntable. Just you get the feel of it, and you get to then you pitch blend it. You do your thing, right? The controller's great. Or CDJs. Now you've upgraded to CDJs, and
well, that's how I got in. Well, I was kind of forced to use Rekordbox because a few of the gigs I had last December, they were like, "Hey, we have CDJs." I was like, "Oh, okay." So then I went and got Rekordbox, put it on a USB. So that's kind of how I switched over, and then ended up getting my new controller, which I was like, oh, perfect. It's compatible with Rekordbox. So I already had everything organized and whatnot with my cue points. So well,
that's good. That's good. And a lot of upcoming DJs are they play like a lot of the trap, EDM, or open format, that type of stuff. But what's your take? Like, what's your sort of your go-to music that you play?
EDM and hip hop, I would say. Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, very different genres. Very different genres.
Yeah, I know. Like, so it kind of
in BPMs. It's
interesting. Yeah, I know a lot one's slower, and then but yeah, I'd say those are my two favorites to play. Right. And then, some throwbacks here and there. I love the 70s and the 80s.
Right on.
But yeah, one of the most recent gigs that I had, super last minute, but my buddy Josh at RedBull texted me and he goes, "Hey, we need a DJ for tonight. They want EDM and hip hop." And he goes, "I know the perfect guy." That's when he called me, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm in."
You're in.
Yeah. So, and that ended up being a really fun night. But I would say those are the two genres I play the most. Right. But again, completely different BPMs and moods, but you can make it work.
Oh yeah, sure, you can make it work. Of course you can make it work. I mean, like, I always struggle with EDM generally. I struggle because of obviously between the age gap that we have. EDM is obviously more dominant, more predominant to the younger crowds, and
for sure,
we'll talk about your music productions because that also leads up to a lot of the EDM builds up and that and to me it's like it depends, I guess, what kind of party you DJ at.
For sure,
you're not going to go and play EDM songs at a corporate event and build this big drop and boom, and like no one's going to be like hammering their hands in the air type of stuff, right?
No, I mean, it's not the type of stuff you're going to hear at a rave that I'm playing at a corporate event. Maybe if it's a bit more of like a bar club scene, then
or
maybe
festivals,
a little bit, right?
Festivals and like open raves, like open areas. Festivals are a big thing, and obviously we're trying to get more into the festival side of things.
Right.
On my side, I want to see more DJs out there. I want to see more of these festivals out there. So we're going to be organizing a lot more of these.
Right.
But when it comes to I guess with music wise and figuring out a playlist of what you do you normally just play the crowd, or do you like sit back and you're going to build a playlist of the songs you're going to play for that night? Is that what you do?
It's like I tend to play, I wouldn't say the same songs every time because obviously it depends on the crowd a lot.
Sure.
But depending on how much time I have, like that one that was last minute, I was kind of like, okay, well, I'm just going to figure it out on the fly. But if I have enough notice, I'll go in and pick out songs based on what I'm told about the event, who's going to be there, what the demographic is. So it depends. Sometimes you're kind of throwing a curveball at the event. So you kind of have to figure it out on the fly. But
of course,
a lot of it is, I do prepare beforehand for sure.
Right.
It depends on the event, but I'll spend countless hours before an event and just picking out songs, what I think might work, and having different crates here and there. So a lot of it is building crates for that specific event, but obviously having everything else on the side just in case.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I admit I've went back into my history. If I knew that I killed a party, it was great.
Yeah.
And I've got a similar crowd, I'll go back to that history. And I'm like, I'll pull that and build a crate for that show.
For sure. Yeah.
And I'm like, I've used it.
Yeah.
You know, no problem. I think it's great.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
You know, there's some new songs you might throw in there a bit here and there.
Yeah.
Right?
But that, one, I think it was about a month ago, another last minute gig. It was, have you heard of the restaurant Local? There's
Toronto?
One in Liberty Village. There's one in
Local.
Leaside.
Yeah.
So there was one, they had some like employee night. It was called Summer of Local, I believe.
Okay.
You know, it was a patio. I was originally supposed to play from 5 to 8. You know, thought it super chill, laid back. It was like a Wednesday night, right? So then I started playing like, you know, your top 40s and just chill, not anything too crazy. And then one thing led to another. Everyone started drinking, and then they're like, hey, can you play tech house? Because I think I teased one song, you know, maybe throw in a song that you like to see what the crowd's reaction is.
Right.
So I think I played like one tech house song, nothing too crazy, but then they got their phones up like, hey, play more tech house. And then all of a sudden everyone's up just dancing around. So then the mood completely changed. But, you know, I'm into that type of music. So I had a blast. But I posted on my story and I was like, oh, how I thought tonight was going to go. And everyone's, you know, sitting in their chair, dancing, moving side to side. And then there was a whole group in front of the DJ booth just like going insane. And then I ended up, the bar manager wanted me to play another hour till 9. Then he comes up, he goes, hey, can you play till 10? And I said, yeah, sure. It's a Wednesday night. I got nowhere else to be. So I ended up playing like 5 hours and just, it was a ton of fun.
Awesome, man.
But there you go. Like I prepared, I had a crate. And then next thing you know, I'm like, this isn't enough for them.
Right.
So then you dig in through everything else that you have and figuring it out along the way. But that was a ton of fun.
But that's what a DJ does. Like he is prepared, she, they're prepared for any opportunity, any sort of last minute deals, or you're playing a set for time wise and you're a time limit of 2 hours, but yet you need to go for 4.
Yeah.
You pick out the music, you know what to play, right? So the DJ you have to know how to curate the music. You have to know how to read the crowd, you know, and that alone is it's like, it's a not as a gift, but it's like a talent that we can pick up, because there are some DJs who will just strictly play off their playlist. They don't care. Yeah. You know, if it's more time than needed, they'll put the same song back on again.
Yeah, exactly. Hoping that no one knows.
Right.
Yeah,
so, you know, there's so much shit that goes on with DJs that, you know, and I think that all leads to the fact that, you know, two things. A, people think everyone can be a DJ. Yeah. Okay. Secondly, the charge of a DJ, of the cost of a DJ, you know, I think it gets, there's like a circle of, or a sectional of people that think that DJs are not worth what they're supposed to be worth, or you're too expensive. You're too expensive. So I'm going to try this guy. But listen, you pay for what you get, man.
For sure.
You know, like, you know, they say that good DJs aren't cheap, and cheap DJs aren't good. Yeah. Right. So, you know, that's a sign I tell everybody that just charge for what you got to charge.
Exactly.
And, you know, obviously you're going to do a great job of it. And, you know, people like you, they like the music, they're going to hire you. If you go in and say, I'm going to play for a few $100, you know, listen, I get it. And there are some club DJs that play for $200-$300. Right. They come in with just their USB. Yeah. Everything's all set up at the bar.
This is what I'm playing. Right.
And the bar is all set up with the CDJs, or like you just plug and play. Yeah. You know, and I get that. Maybe if you're playing for 3-4 hours, you know. Yeah, I get it. But you know what? I'm like, typically if I'm going to go out for to do a gig, I'm lugging my music, my speakers, my controller, my turntables, or whatever I'm going to bring out. So I'm spending time setting up, tearing down.
It's a lot. Yeah, no, for sure. And I've never done weddings, but I was at my cousin's wedding, which you DJ'd. Yes. And, you know, you don't see a lot of that beforehand. Like, you know, what you're saying, you got to lug all your speakers, your controller, a table, everything, right? Your lights. So you charge a lot, and then even beforehand you're prepping for that, right? Right. It's a long day, and people are like, why are wedding DJs, you know, why are they so expensive? But again, you're paying for what you get.
You do. And even wedding DJs, to come to that point, it's a good point, is that they're also meeting up with the bride and groom weeks beforehand.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
going through the playlist or music they want to hear, or if there's like older people that are from a part of a town in Europe, they want to hear their favorite song in Italian or Greek or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
You got to, because normally, like, we won't as DJs, we're not going to have songs on the fly.
No.
Right.
No.
So it's difficult. So that's where you're preparing it. You're getting it set up. You're bringing your equipment, and you saw what we went on that night, and
for sure,
and it pays well, but there's no problem for that. But it's just the taking everything down again, like, because you're into it. You're dancing, you're grooving,
sure.
you're with the people, and then all of a sudden when everything's stopped, and you're the last one to leave, because you're setting everything up and tearing it down, and then you're the last one to leave, and it's like you're so tired.
I know.
But you want to have someone, you want to have like an assistant with you,
someone on the side to say, all right, here's it all up.
Here's
right?
a couple $100 here.
Exactly.
Put this up and take it down. Right.
I know. Yeah, and that was like all the high school and university parties that I did. Right.
Right.
Plugging the desk, my controller, the speakers, all that stuff. Right. And you got to set that up, and then everyone starts heading out to the bar, and you're like, okay, well, I got to clean this up now. Right. So
no, I get it. I get it. So it depends on where you want to go. Like, I know that you're young. You've got a lot. Got a lot on your plate, in the sense of like figuring out what you want to do.
Right.
What direction you want to go at. How do I go to the next steps?
Yeah.
Do I want to get into music production? And you went to Guelph for 4 years.
Yep.
Right. Came out of there. Not any music courses whatsoever at Guelph.
No, nothing. Maybe like an intro. I think I took.
An intro,
like basic music theory.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not going to get where you wanted to be, right? So, and then you said, okay, you know what? And then I'll let you tell the story about what you've done, because you want to get into more, music production, more of the music. What do I want to do in life?
Yeah.
And it's a tough choice to make, especially when the investment in time that you went to Guelph, which was not a waste, because you've graduated there and you had a great time with your friends.
Yeah.
And so when you finished, you thought to yourself, when did you realize, like, were you sitting down and you're like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
I've always wanted to go to music school. I think ever since like high school, maybe.
Right.
I went on countless open house tours and private tours. So I've maybe 2 or 3 that I've done with my dad and my mom. So it's always something I've wanted to do. And then I graduated in 2020, and then go figure, COVID happened.
Well, yeah.
So I was kind of sitting at home that entire summer looking for jobs and, doing whatever. Eventually got a job at a golf course, and then that led to me finding a full-time job as a sales rep for Frito-Lay.
Yeah.
Did that from maybe September until the following August. So just under a year. But during that entire time, I think, during the spring and early summer, I was kind of like, is this what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? I've always wanted to go to music school, but I also didn't want to go during COVID because everything was online.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm spending all this money. I'm not, I don't want to learn online. Right. Because I'm sitting there watching my brother, who was finishing up his last 2 years online, and he was just like, it's hell.
Imagine, man.
Right. So I'm like, I don't want to invest all this money and time where I'm sitting at home, learning, spending all this money on music school. So I think I waited a bit, worked for a bit, just to save up some money to, kind of put it into music school. So then I think I made that decision spring of last year, so 2021, where I was kind of like, I want to go into music school. So I talked to my parents about it. I talked to my girlfriend, just to make sure, everyone was supporting me. Because it's a lot. Like, you're taking a year off work, right? Sure. And it doesn't cost. It's not cheap, right? So it's a huge investment. But yeah, everyone was really supportive. So I went to school at Metalworks for electronic music production. Okay,
so Metalworks Mississauga.
Yes.
Yeah.
Started that in 2021 September, and then that was a full year. Went all the way through this summer, and then I just graduated a month ago.
Right on.
So that was, a ton of fun. And I talked to my parents about it, and I was like, I think that if I don't do this, and if I'm, 10 years down the road and I'm thinking like, I should have done this, right? So I didn't want to look back and say, oh, I regret not going to music school. Let me take the shot. Let me take the risk.
Right.
Not that there is a lot of risk right now. I'm still living at home with my parents.
Right.
No, not a lot of bills to pay. But still, just that time and investment. Obviously, it's something I
for sure
considered. But I'm glad I did it. Because I knew I was going to look back, if I didn't do it in the future, and I'm like, oh, I wish I did it. Right?
I know you, but you're gonna, you're 24.
Yeah.
We're like, when I was 24, I knew what I wanted to do. I was becoming a car mechanic, so I knew that's what I was going to do. Because back then, being a DJ wasn't a career choice for anybody.
Yeah.
Either a DJ would be more of like, you are working at a radio station as a DJ, or you're going to, go to the next level and be like those guys in Europe, whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So now you still got to think to yourself, okay, you know what do I got to do? Which direction want to go with? Do I want to be like the DJ / producer? Do I want to take like, you have a couple tracks that you've mixed. Yeah. Which was fantastic. It's been out there on Spotify, and I'll post the links up after the podcast. Because you're super talented on that part, and I think that I don't know where the balance is, where you're going to say to yourself, I can do, I'm going to DJ and I'm going to produce music the same, like on my off hours. Yeah. Right. So if you're thinking about doing gigs and you're doing more corporate stuff, you're doing open format, and then you got to switch your mind up to like, okay, how am I going to, what track am I going to mix that's EDM, right? Or whatever it may be. So like, you got to be super creative in that side, in that sort of sense, right? For sure. Especially, if I'm DJing, to me, I don't even think about music production. Yeah. I think about DJing, and I think about, okay, you know what, I can mix this song, I can add this beat and that beat, whatever, but I do it on the fly. For sure. But it's, for me, I never really got into the balance of like, I'm gonna DJ, I'm gonna produce music.
You're gonna make music on the side,
right?
Yeah.
So you do the production of the music's all done at your house, right?
Yes. Have like a little home studio, a couple of studio monitors, a little
everyone
MIDI
goes
keyboard,
that way.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it gets you by. I mean, in today's society, everyone's like, you don't need a big fancy studio. All you need is a laptop and headphones. Right. Right.
And a lot of people will beg to differ about it. Will get upset about that because there's producers that still use the old school analog system. Yeah. The keyboards. Like a good friend of mine, DJ Alexa Tipple. She's in the UK right now, and she's going to be on my podcast again. But she was a DJ she DJ'd for Prince's party. Okay. For Prince. Yeah. And because he wanted like a female DJ. Yeah. That played nothing but funk, and that's what she does, right? So she's like, getting the music and blah blah blah. So what I'm trying to get at is that her music production. That's what she does now. Yeah, is like all analog, gotcha. Keyboard and maybe the old Roland's drum machine that she uses. But now you can buy. You can buy the MPCs that the keypads for drums and basses, and a laptop with a headset. But then some people think, well, how could you really do that? Like you go look at what's his name, Deadmau5. Right. I think he stopped DJing just to get into full-time music production, but teaching music production.
When he first started?
No, like now. Oh, okay. Like he's actually not doing a lot of DJing anymore. He's got a place in King City, I think it is, and you can actually go to his little tutorial school, and he'll teach you how to produce with like old school and new school stuff, right?
Because I know he had masterclass. He has a masterclass, and I actually bought it.
So he
like
sold
a while ago. Yeah, this was maybe 3-4 years ago now. I don't know. It was one of the first classes that was out there. Now there's tons, but I actually purchased that. So I guess that's when he kind of got into it. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what it was. I may be wrong. You may be right on that, or he's changed over into more of in-class stuff. But you know, it's just it's an art in itself on taking that music, taking the beats, or ripping, you know, the acapellas and you know, creating stems for everything to do everything like that. Right. And it's, you know, you find that fun, right? You find that rewarding and challenging that you can create this beat and this.
I love it.
You know, and make it work.
Yeah,
right.
I love it. I don't know how I got into producing. What kind of sparked, you know, I'm gonna start to produce my own music now. It might have been like, because I kind of want to go in more towards the path of, you know, being an artist, right? And getting booked for my songs, not so much my actual DJing style. So I think that's how I got into it, probably 6 years ago now. Right. I downloaded Logic Pro for the first time. Then that's how I got into it. But yeah, I love it. I don't know. You know the feeling when, you know, you're playing a nice song and everyone's going crazy on the dance floor and it makes you feel good. I have that same feing when, you know, I'm up at 2 a.m. This was me back in university. I don't stay up that late anymore. I'm like my dad. But
no, you can't be like your dad. There's no way. Stevie J, there's no way he's like you, man.
No, but just like, you know, I'd stay up till 2-3 in the morning back in university just because, you know, you play something back and you know the way music makes you feel, right? And if you make something like that, you're like, I just made that, and like you just sit there listening back to it. So, but yeah, it's extremely challenging. Every producer knows there's days where you go by and you're like, I can't come up with anything, and it's frustrating. Yeah. Right. So, but it's extremely fun. I love it.
Well, your boys like it. They enjoy when the track came out. Yeah. You know, and I liked how you took to social media to promote it. You know, to get it onto, you know, to a couple platforms. Yeah. I think that, to be honest with you, you know, you should probably get, you know, more involved in that. Yeah. You know, to me is like, if you were to tell me, hey, listen, Dave, what should I do? Yeah. You know, the answer that I would tell you is like, obviously you want to do what you feel is best for you. Whether if DJing is the direction you want to go with, then there's a path that way that will take you there. Right. And, you know, in order to put the work and effort into is where you'll succeed to it. But if you say to me, Dave, I want to do both, you know, you have the talent to do both. Yeah. Where are you going to focus yourself to where are you going to make money doing this? Yeah. Okay. Because bottom line is you got to make money. Yeah. You can't do it for fun, right?
And as a producer, it's extremely tough.
Right. Right. But here it is though. It's like there are so many labels out there that would take you in a heartbeat. Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to send you some contacts where, you know, for some music labels that'll get you on BeatSource and Beatport and all those other platforms that you know your music will get monetized and create a small little revenue, right? Yeah. But what's good with the labels is that they will promote you heavily into the if it's a record label from the UK, they'll push you into the radio side, right? Hand them, like back in the olden days, we used to give tape cassettes to the DJs and the radio said, please play this, right? Well, that's what they do in a more digital industry. But if you tell me, you know, what would be the best thing for me, Dave, I would say, like, where would you want to make your living from? Yeah. Music production, because music production is, I'll tell you right now, it's you know, it can be a very saturated industry, especially like DJing. Yeah. You know, it depends, but you're not competing with other people in a sense like, you know, how much you're going to charge to do this and how much you're going to charge this DJ to DJ. That's a different business. Yeah. If you create a certain format of music and produce this really wicked style of beats, because every producer has their own
style,
of beats, right? You'll notice every producer will have, whether it's Tiesto, whether it's Armin van Buuren, they all have a certain sound, you know. So you want to create that, and then
it's your own product at the end of the day,
it's
right?
Your brand. It's your brand.
Exactly. As a DJ, you know, everyone has access to the same music, right? So that's where it's kind of, you know, more on an even playing field, right?
Of course. And even being a DJ, you have to know how to curate, play, keep the crowd engaged, and make it work. That's a separate business. That's a separate way to do it. But for music production, it's like, you know, you need to really think to yourself, okay, what song am I going to take to, you know, make it my sound, my beat, you know? And that's where, like, you can talk to, you should talk to other record labels that are into tech house, Jack in the House, or open or hip hop record labels. I'll send you some hip hop record label guys that will, will listen to what you have to say and probably steer in the right direction if that's what you want to go at, right? Because in the end, like, I know you got a job with RedBull, and RedBull is kind of cool because you go out the RedBull truck and you're out to different events and you're DJing. It's a mobile DJ off their truck, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's amazing,
right? So, you know, that is also something that to me would be a short term, right? Until you really know what you want to go, or maybe Red Bull says, "Hey, listen, I've got like gigs every week." You know, unless they provide you with their gigs and you work for them, hopefully that's a good long term business.
Yeah, there's been a few on the side where, you know, like I'm telling you, these last minute gigs that pop up. A lot of them over the past few months have been through Red Bull. Right. Off to the side, as opposed to what I do for my job driving that truck. Right. For the truck. But yeah, I've gotten a few off to the side, which have been, you know, have helped a lot. And that's how I actually got the job in the first place.
Sure.
So,
and then that's where you have to continue to network with people that are on the side, and whether it's social media or emailers, and say, hey, listen, you know, if you got any more gigs, I'm around. You know, you have to. You got to hustle at it. Yeah, for sure. You know, you got to work at it, just like everything else. And your dad will agree and say the same thing. Yeah. You know, you're not gonna get anywhere if you don't hustle and work at it. Right?
Oh, exactly.
It's not gonna come to you. You have to go to it.
Exactly. I'm showing up to these gigs and they're like, "Oh, you did such a great job," and I'm like, "Here, take my business card." Right. Yeah,
exactly.
So
exactly. That's what you got to do, and you have keep following up and be on social media all the time and just like, you know, engage the crowd. Like if you want to get into more music stuff, more music production, have them tell you or have them say to you, hey, listen, try to take this song and do this way. Yeah. Like I follow a few DJs and producers that do like a little short reel about, you know, they do like a quick little mashup and they'll say, oh, someone told me to take, you know, the vocals for ABBA and put it into the beat of Biggie Smalls, right? Just saying it, hypothetically, right? And he tried it, and it fucking worked amazing. So he brands himself that way.
Well, there's a lot of people, like once you get obviously off the start, it's a lot of your ideas, but then once you have a following, you get tons of comments that you can just scroll through where, like you said, a lot of people suggesting like, oh, try this, try that. And then all the ideas are, I mean, you still have to put in the work to get to that point, and you're still going to have to create the content. But you got a lot of people that are giving you ideas on like, oh, try this. And you're like, oh, sure, there you go. There's another idea, right?
Of course. Yeah. I think in, you know, I think to me, if it was me that's going to choose your destiny, I was going to say, I would say that, I would say you'll get more into the DJing side because I think there's still a lot more available work for that.
For sure.
Okay. For music, for DJing, corporate events.
I agree. Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, set yourself on LinkedIn. You know, start hustling all the big corporations out there for you know, like what I'm doing now on my LinkedIn. And granted, I haven't been on there much, but I always have this list of things I want to do, and I never get to fucking do it because it's so busy.
Yeah.
But part of that action of LinkedIn is that you get to engage and connect and network with a lot of corporate people.
Right.
And then and all you do is you just create like a little blurb and you send up to them and say, hey, listen, COVID is, we're back in normalities. Will your company be doing a Christmas party this year? Please keep me in mind.
Yeah.
Here's my package of what it costs.
Right.
And if they're interested in it, then you get into it. So that's where I start to hammer out all these big corporate events, because from November to December, it would be your Christmas time gigs. For
sure, yeah.
A lot. And I try, you kind of don't want RedBull to say, hey man, I got these gigs for you. You gotta, if the job is a full-time job and I get it, no problem. But if it's like an uncertainty where it's like just, part-time or looking for work, or, in your case where it's starting to die down a bit until ski season happens, then you'll be out there. I can imagine how fun that is in ski season.
It is. It's a lot of fun. That's how I got into RedBull, actually, at Blue Mountain. And those events were a ton of fun. Yeah. Right?
Those are a ton of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everyone out there, they're loving it.
Is it fucking cold out there, though?
Yeah, it can get cold.
Yeah. You can't get the truck running, right?
No, because I'm in the back. So I tried to, and everything runs off a generator built inside the truck. Yeah. So one time I brought my Dyson, because I was like, I'm bringing my Dyson. It was one of the heater, right? It wouldn't do much power, so it wouldn't even work.
Really?
And I was like, oh man. So I mean, yeah, it's tough. Like I was trying to DJ, and then I'd be like, hey, I need a 10-minute break, and the truck was running, so I'd go on the inside, and they'd have the
heater
they'd have the steering wheel heated, the seat heated, and the heat on full blast. I just because you're out there for like 6 hours.
Oh man, is that not good for the equipment?
You know what, it's funny, not really funny that you bring that up. One of the events that I had, it was a night, so somewhere in the day, somewhere in the night. This one in the nighttime, they didn't have equipment for me, so I brought my controller, and then I stopped DJing around 9 o'clock, and then Lucas and all the other guys were actually up there, so I was like, I brought my stuff, like I'm gonna go snowboarding for like an hour. Right. Left my controller and my laptop in the car. Oh, Jesus. And it was snowing. It was snowing a little bit that night, so I was trying to brush off the snow. It wasn't wet snow, so I was able to brush it off, but still there was still some on my laptop. Anyways, I tossed everything in the car, go snowboarding, and then the next morning I was heading up to Quebec for a trip with my girlfriend. Drove 8 hours, get to Quebec, and I try and power on my laptop, and it was done.
It wouldn't power up.
Wouldn't power up the entire weekend. So I guess because water got inside, left it in the freezing car. Yeah. You know how cold it gets here, in February. Yeah. So yeah, I brought it to Geek Squad, and that's a whole nother story. I was without a laptop for like 2 months, and then ended up buying a new one once they were like, "Yeah, we can't fix it, so here's your refund." Because I had Geek Squad protection. So
did you?
I did, yeah. So, but they wouldn't even give me a replacement. So I was kind of like, okay, here's my laptop. Then I'd go buy one. And you have a 2-week return policy. So I just buy it, and then on the 13th day, I'd go in and say, I don't want it anymore. Yeah. I did that 2 or 3 times, and then on the third one, they finally said like, yeah, we can't fix this. So then I just took that third one and applied the refund credit to it. So
to a new one, for sure.
But yeah, those like during the day it was fine, but yeah, once the sun went down, it was freezing. Yeah. It was very cold.
Yeah, so. I can't believe it'd be good. Like even if you're like, I know that our phone tends to like slow down in the way it transitions. So I can imagine what a laptop and a controller.
Yeah, it was. I didn't have any issues. Like everything ran smoothly. But yeah, like once I let that laptop sit in the car for like an hour while I was snowboarding, and then another 2-hour drive home. And then overnight, I didn't touch it because I got home and went to bed straight away.
The moisture might have been inside that thing.
So it was done. Controller was fine. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, like everything ran smoothly. Just cool. Yeah, my hands were freezing, so it wasn't. I wasn't doing much. It was kind of like, hey, fader over on this side, fader on that side, right?
I know. It's like, what do you just play open format when you're there? I guess, right?
Just whatever, right? Because like, there's no crowd really. It's just it's everyone in right. So but then again, like, I'm tapping more into the EDM, like
Yeah.
rave type stuff. Cause
Right.
it's more, you know, snowboarding and skiing. It's more adrenaline, and
Right.
it's not like, you know,
that's where you can just throw in some tracks of yours in there, or throw in other
and no
tracks.
one cares, right?
No one cares. And if people, and it's like, this is a great way to introduce your music in places like, because you never know, you might have someone that will ski down like, holy shit, what is that?
Yeah, what is that? Yeah,
You know?
for sure. Yeah.
So I think it's and to me, those are like great easy gigs.
Yeah.
You know,
Because there's no pressure.
No
right?
pressure.
You don't have to worry about losing the crowd or
nothing.
Right?
You don't have some person with their phone in your face. Can you
play this song. Yeah.
Play this and play that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck, get
so
out of
that
here.
yeah, like the patio party, that one of the patio parties that I had, I was like, you know, I'll get a little nervous, like, I hope people like the songs that I'm playing, but you know, obviously it turned out to be a great night. But yeah, again, those Blue Mountain gigs are just like, no one cares. No one's coming up to you with the phone saying, hey, can you play this song? Because they're up the lift in 2 minutes. Right.
So they're hearing the music when they come down, and when they're going up the list.
Exactly.
It's easy.
So those are very easy gigs. I wouldn't say they're boring, because you're still having fun yourself. You know, you see people at the lift, they're vibing out, having a good time.
Seeing people,
exactly,
chit-chatting.
Yeah. So those are a lot of fun.
You can't really be drinking though, eh?
No. Gotta drive home.
I know, man.
Gotta drive home. It's a long drive.
You want a little bit of Bailey's with your coffee or with your hot chocolate,
I know. Yeah.
But oh man.
Yeah.
But it's all good, man. I mean, this is okay. So tell me, where do you want to go with this? What do you want to do?
End goal would be, playing festivals and clubs as an artist, being booked for, the songs that I produce. So I'm trying to focus more on producing and making my own stuff. But again, like, it is hard trying to make, obviously that's like, like a side hustle of mine right now, but those DJ corporate gigs, pay well. So those, keep me going.
Right.
So I wouldn't see myself so much getting into weddings. As much as I love DJing and playing, like, regardless if I'm at a festival, at a bar, at a wedding, I love DJing, but I wouldn't see myself doing that in the long run. Like, that's not my path.
Right.
Right.
So if that's the case, then you need to really focus on branding yourself.
Correct.
Like branding your name, and Matt Mavro. So Mavro is your mother's maiden name, correct?
Yes, without the U. There's a U on it. I dropped it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was like, does it look better without the U? And I was
she get upset.
Yeah.
You're demolishing my name.
Yeah.
But I think you have a lot of support behind you, and to me, if it's to do festivals, to be a DJ that wants to travel a bit,
it's not obviously it's not an easy life because you're on the road all the time. But
I totally get it.
At my age, if I can accomplish that, within the next 10 years or so, right? Obviously later on down in life, you probably want to settle down, not travel as much. That's me personally. But, while I'm young, I'd love to see other places around the world. And I think that would be an amazing...
would be just the places that absorb music, in foreign countries and that. So yeah, I think you need to A, brand yourself.
Yes.
B, get yourself in with a label, because that's where they'll take you to the next step.
Yeah, because by yourself, as if you're independent, you're doing everything yourself, right?
Right. You're doing everything yourself.
Yeah.
If I was your age and I would have stuck with DJing, and because I love the entrepreneur, I love branding, I love building a business.
Yeah.
And I would have, I'm building my brand as a DJ, not in a heavy level, just in a moderate level where, I'm still working full time somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't interfere with that,
right.
So I think it's pretty good way I've got going right now. And, but if I was your age, I would definitely take it to the next level and network with the people that would take me to that next level.
Right.
You have a girlfriend, think about the future, So yeah, you know what, maybe in the 10 years that you're here now, that and the music, I would connect with people to get you there.
Yeah.
And you have to say to yourself, if they ask me to go to fucking Boston or whatever, then I'm gonna go, right? Yeah. But you should have some music under your belt. Get some more tracks built,
for sure. Yeah.
Or even some music sets that have a variety of like, whether it's progressive house or whether it's tech house, and just that's like you're creating your own mixtape, and you send that off to them.
That's I kind of do that. That's obviously producing takes a while just to get songs released and signed with labels. So I do have mixes that I try and release monthly. Started off with like bi-weekly, but then obviously work was busy, so I pushed it back. I'm trying to get them out as much as possible, but that's basically to showcase, this is like, hey, this is the type of music I'm interested in. This is what I play. They're 1 hour long, so obviously it's not stuff that I would play at gigs that I get hired for, because it is more EDM focused, tech house, like festival club vibes. So it's kind of say like, hey, this is what I'm interested in, and then obviously here's my music on the side. Right.
I would take that to the next level, and I would if you give me that set, because I also have, obviously I have an internet radio show that I would create your own show that airs, and it airs, I think I get probably, on an average, maybe 12,000 people a week will tune in, which is a lot of people from across the world. Yeah. So I would create like a little show for you, like a 1 hour show that you send me the mix, and automatically goes in there and it sends it off there. Yeah. I think that'll be great, because then you can do it at a certain time of day where it's like prime time in Europe or the UK, where they love that music, and blast it out there, and I think that would work. Like, these are just networking ideas that run through my head,
for
right?
Sure, yeah.
So we'll talk about that off camera too. But like, I definitely would like to see, if we have some, if you have some sets, we throw it out there at a certain time of day, and away you go, and then you start to brand yourself. Hey, I'm on Life Radio at between 4 p.m. Eastern time, which is like maybe 9 p.m. UK time, where they're like half drunk or half stoned, and they're ready to go out. They're ready to rock and roll, right? So, so I think those are ideas that you should think about, as well as just talking to a ton of people, man. That's all you got to do is just do that.
Yeah, for sure. Getting involved is as many ways as you can. I tried making TikToks and Reels, doing like those mashup type things. I did a few of them, but then I kind of stepped back and I was like, hey, what is my main focus? Because you can't do it all, the gigs and then the monthly mixes and producing and, the mashups and stuff like that. And they do take up a lot of time. You got to go into your crate and you got to say, okay, let me, sure, it might look easy while you're watching it for 7 seconds, but you don't see the time spent before. Okay, let me take this acapella, try this song. No, try this song. Finally, on the 10th song, you get it. Yeah. So it takes up a lot of time. Whereas, I kind of stood back and I was like, hey, what do I want to focus on? I want to create my own music and focus on producing now. So that's where I kind of stepped back from that. And I was, I'd get like 2-3 followers a day on Instagram, and I obviously want to grow my brand and my social presence. But at the same time, I was like, I don't want to be known for this, right? Like a few thousand followers down the line. Sure, you may have followers, but then once I get into like, producing my own music, they're going to step back and say, hey, I followed this guy for something else, and now he's not, he's switched up.
Exactly. If you do too many,
you're going
to have people that are going to be following because of this and following because of that, and these people are like, well, why did you stop doing this?
Exactly. And, so I took a step back from that. I do want to, TikToks and Reels are crazy. Like how easily you can blow up. I mean, you obviously have to put in the work, posting daily and replying and everything, right? It's not like you're going to post once a week and then all of a sudden.
Right. You're talking like maybe like almost 2-3 times a day.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say online. So I do want to get back into that, but still thinking of a way how, set up, a tripod at the camera while you're producing, like little tips and tricks here and there, and not so much mashups, which were a lot of fun, and I love doing them. I got a lot of great feedback from friends and family that were like, hey, this was awesome, even random people commenting. Awesome. Which, obviously made you feel good, and you're like, I'm going to go and do another one now. Right. But it was a lot of work. And again, at the end of the day, I was like, this is not what I want to be doing, a year from now. Right.
Right. And it's the to do a 10-second mashup reel will take you 6 hours of hard work to come up with the right stuff. Yeah. So you have to look at the value of what that's worth. Yeah. And like you said, knock off the things that are holding you back from what you want to do.
Yeah. Right? I was like, I'm spending too much time on this, whereas I'd rather spend it on this.
But some people your age, don't think like that. Yeah. They want to do everything. They want to be everybody. Yeah. I get it. I still want to be everybody and do everything. Mm-hmm. But then again, it's like I stopped doing live Twitch shows because it was like, I love the podcasting. I love guests. I love talking and sharing stories. And I got a family and it's like, and I'm working. Mm-hmm. And when I do the shows, it's a lot of time. And it's like, I wasn't, I'm not getting fucking thousands of followers on Twitch. Yeah. So it's like, who's watching me and like, where am I going to put this music? Where is it going to go? This video, it's going to go nowhere.
Yeah. You're doing it for yourself. Yeah. I mean, you have a ton of fun doing it, right?
Totally a ton of fun. I mean, I got, there's people that follow for that reason. Yeah. And there's people that like you said, I would do the podcast, I would do the Twitch show, and I would do a radio show. Right. And I would have 3 separate demographics for that. Yeah. And people that were on my Twitch show would be like, why aren't you doing Twitch anymore? And it's like, move over to this. So it's like, I wanted to be everybody, but you can't.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you got to do what you enjoy most, man, right?
Of course.
Obviously not crowd your plate too much.
You can't. And again, because if you take on too much, man, something's going to suffer. Something's going to let go. You're going to get burned out. You're going to be like, oh, fuck this. I'm canceling everything. Yeah. Exactly. I'm going to go become, whatever. Yeah. Right. So, but yeah, man, this is great. I mean, I enjoy the talk of finding out what you wanted to get into and how you started it, because that's what this whole podcast is about, is just getting into the finding your journey, where you want to go, right? Yeah. And you're going to come into you'll have a lot of bumps and grinds in the road. Yeah. Okay. Getting to where you want to go,
for sure.
Whether you're going to have, and you will have, it's like I have that. Like you're going to have, you'll have haters. You'll have people who critique your work and or they don't say anything to you, but they say that. You know what? I tell people all the time on my podcast is like, I'll get a negative comment online, and I don't engage in that comment. You don't want to engage it because they want to feel the fire.
Of course, they love it.
They love that, right? Yeah. So I love to see that and I say to myself, you know what? They took the time to listen to my podcast to make that comment. So check mark, the podcast got to them.
I know.
And it's great. Yeah. So I'm good with that, right? But what happens when you start to analyze it more, it'll start to eat you up more. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're gonna be like, oh, fuck. And you can't focus on what you want to do, and that's your brand.
And I'm into, like, especially these days, I'm listening to a lot of podcasts, and there's a lot of stuff that comes up on my TikToks, and it's a lot of motivational talk.
Awesome.
I love it. But it just, it tells you, it's like, hey, you only have one life. And, are these haters and people questioning what you're doing, is it really going to hold you back? Right. 40 years from now, you're going to say, really? That's what I was bothered by?
Right.
Right. So.
Yeah. No, that's why, you know what? I don't let that bother me. And I'll teach my kids that as well, teach you guys as well. But I really like the fact that you got into DJing or want to get more, and I'm happy you reached out to me about certain things, which was really happy about it. So when you do make a lot of millions, you just, focus on giving
Shout you out there.
Give me a little shout out at least, whatever,
course, yeah.
right?
A couple backstage passes once in a while.
There you go, man. There you go.
When I make my acceptance speech.
There you go. Yeah. Awesome, man. That's awesome.
Of course.
Matt, I appreciate you coming on board, man.
Appreciate you having me. This was a ton of fun. I've been looking forward to doing, this is my first podcast.
Awesome,
So
man.
I've been looking forward to doing one because
excellent.
I could do this for hours.
Hey, man,
right?
and I could do the same thing. I could talk about it, and I just like I said, I just really want to focus on the business, the brand, your journey, and that's where I focus on my podcast to be about. If you just wanted to just do an interview with people and talk about this, talk about that, there's podcasts all about that.
Sure.
But I really want to focus on the positive sides of what you're doing, and and I always talk about, I do want to talk more about how mental health is a huge factor to a lot of today's society and kids and adults and so forth, right? And it seems that you're pretty focused on what's going out there, and you got a good head on your shoulders. You got a good family behind you. So to me, it's like I just want people to recognize that if there's any issues, they can reach out to people.
Right. For sure.
Whether you reach out to me and say, Dave, listen, I got an issue with some music, or I need to talk to somebody that can help me with this and that.
Yeah.
We're all about that.
Yeah.
Right. So we shouldn't have to, worry about it and let it eat us up. We just want to get it done and move forward. Right. So
100%.
Other than that, Matt, listen, buddy, I really appreciate you coming tonight, man. This is fun.
Yeah.
I think that we nailed all the right topics we talked about, and
for sure, a lot.
Like I said, this is all about upcoming DJs. That's what the show's about. This 2-part this week and next week.
Right.
So I have a male and a female. So pretty much, I wanted to focus on you, showcase you a bit.
Yeah.
Reach out to people that could potentially help you, and that's what this show's about.
Right.
That's what the series is about, is to help you move on to the next step, because it can, and whether you like it or not, I'm gonna send you some people's names that you could reach out to, and you should reach out to.
No, for sure.
And just say, hey, listen, how do I get into this, or what do I need to do to get here, or do this, right?
Yeah.
Or is my music good or not good for this?
Yeah.
For what's happening,
for sure.
Forecast what people are going to be listening to later on, or what the beats that you want to get into. So that's what I want to focus on with the upcoming DJs. So hopefully that works out for you, man.
Yeah, hopefully.
Awesome, buddy.
Looking forward to it.
Appreciate it very much, man.
Thank you again.
And cheers.
Cheers. Water.
Water. I know it's not bad luck, is it? No. We'll just say it's vodka, but.
Oh, that's strong.
We'll catch you again. Maybe we'll do another follow up, and when things progress and you're in.
If
you're
I
making
got time
big.
for you.
Look at that, eh? Already the cockiness.
Always have time for you.
Just like Tiesto. Oh, yeah. I'm just kidding. Just don't press fucking play and put your hands in the air and play pre-recorded set.
We'll see. I don't know.
Whatever.
They're tired. They're traveling a lot.
I know. All right. This is the Noisy Chair Podcast. I appreciate you. Appreciate everyone tuning in today, and wait till next week for part 2 of upcoming DJs, where I have a great, she is an awesome house DJ, influenced by her dad, good friend of mine. I think she is the youngest house DJ, I'm going to say, that's up and coming, and that's where I wanted to bring her on my show. So she'll be here next week, and then we'll keep going with the guests. I have a ton of new guests that are coming on, and this will be great, and I hope you get to tune in.
Exciting, yeah.
And we'll go from there. Everybody, take care, and we will see you soon.
See you later.
Take care. Bye.